anything going on with you?
Because they want me to sing.
卡雷拉斯把中国民歌在那遥远的地方作为那一晚的安可曲目送给热情的上海观众，最后演出在经久不息的掌声中结束了。从台前到幕后，他都被这种深深的热忱所包围着。
There was a very emotional moment when you sent some passion, passion was that?
Passione, yeah.
Dedicated to Mr. Pavarotti, and also the video part was very touching. I saw during the rehearsal when you sang the song, actually you were not facing the audience, you were facing the big screen. When you saw those video things going on, what was actually in your mind?
Well, wonderful memories from the time I spent with Luciano, both in professional life and in personal life.
When you say with charisma and very entertaining, was he the way he behaved in public and in private life? I think maybe a little bit different. So how do you see him in private lives?
He was entertaining in private life. He was tremendously entertaining. He was always in good mood. He was always joking. But besides that, he also knew how to talk about serious things and deep, profound things in life, in our daily life, in our society. I think. It was very unreachable to talk to him, to spend time with him.
As I learned, you both met in the United States for the first time.
Well, we both met the first time in Barcelona in 1970. He was singing there at the Opera House in my hometown, and I was a beginner by then, and I was also singing a role at the Opera House at the same time. And well, I had the possibility to meet with him, and from the very first moment, needless to say that I had a great admiration for him. And then I have to say that he was always following the beginning of my career. He was always, then I met him in New York, and he was always asking me, what do you do, how are you doing?
I also have read that you commented him as a great poker player. You played poker.
Yeah, sometimes sometimes we spend a lot of time in hotels. We cannot go out because of the weather, etc., etc. We have to rest. We cannot talk too much. And then to spend some time, we used to play sometimes some cards. And I have to say that he was an excellent poker player. But we played for fun. We never played for money.
Okay, so who wins more, you or you or him?
Well, normally him, I have to say. He was a born winner, and you know, this is pure, not only matter of luck, but also a little bit of talent. But he was very good in playing cards, and we had a lot of fun together with him and other friends.
So do you get very emotional when you play cards? I mean, sometimes people can really get engaged in playing games and get very emotional when losing or winning.
Some people, they are born winners, and some people, they don't admit, or they don't want to lose even playing a silly game, you know. And Luciano was one of a kind of man that he wanted to win, but of course he was intelligent enough and he was sensitive enough not to become upset because he was losing a game.
But actually he had a tendency to get mad when he lose, right?
Not really. No, not the times I played with him. No, I never. On the contrary, he was congratulating the winner always.
It was in 1990, the first time for the three tenor to perform in Rome, Italy, and it was a really phenomenal moment. How did it actually happen?
Well, in 1990, Italy were holding the football World Cup. And 1 year before, somebody was approaching me, asking me, well, what do you think about if we do a kind of big concert, a kind of macro concert with the best opera singers in the world, etc. And I said, look, why instead of this, which would be a very good project, why don't we risk? And we put the three of us together, Luciano Pavarotti, Placido Domingo, and myself. And in 1990, the 7th of July, we sang the very first concert together in Rome, in the Caracalla Terme. And that was the beginning of this, the story of this, what this called the three tenors, Luciano Pavarotti, Placido Domingo, and myself.
So when looking back, how do you think of the three tenor affect or influence your career life?
Every time was a wonderful experience. Every time was a tremendous excitement, both from the professional and from the personal point of view. In 14 years, from 1990 until 2004, we sang only 30 concerts together. More and more we were working together, more and more our personal relationship was improving and was growing. So we ended being a very good group of friends.
Mr. Pavarotti has already passed away, so actually the three tenor as a group is already a part of the history.
Losing Luciano, this is that's it. The three tenors will not, at least these three tenors, or Placido Domingo and myself with somebody else, that will never happen. So it's very sad. It's very sad because we lost a great artist and a wonderful friend.
When he was down with the pancreatic cancer, when you learned that, did you call back and did you visit him?
Yes, of course.
That's what you talked about there, right?
Yeah. That's what I was talking about. The last 1 year of his life. Yes.
Talking about his projects and his dreams.
Yeah. He was talking about projects. He was talking about I'm going to do a recording, or I'm going to do this and that. He was full of ideas.
So most of the ideas and most of the dreams cannot be realized.
Well, unfortunately, we lost him, and these ideas, these projects, they disappeared with him.
Yeah. Is there anything you're going to do to carry on the project?
No, because they were projects he wanted to do for himself. I think we have to respect that.
I think for Jose, going back to Salzburg is a fantastic thing for him.
然而，对于癌症，卡雷拉斯也有切肤之痛。1987年，他被查出患有血癌，当时他正在拍摄音乐电影《波西米亚人》。患病的消息一经传出，全世界哗然。
We all know that you had a very hard a period of time when you had that leukemia, with leukemia, and when you were treated for that. It was the darkest period of your life. You should say that.
Well, I was suffering from a very severe disease. Leukemia is a very severe disease, and 20 years ago was even more severe than today. To deal with such an illness, it was a very difficult period in my life, for sure. I was expending 11 months in hospital between Barcelona, my hometown, and Seattle in the United States.
I read from your autobiography that Mr. Pavarotti called during that period. He called and say, "Okay, you hold on, because otherwise I'll lose a competitor."
Well, that was, you see, that was Luciano. Who else could have such an idea to tell somebody that is ill in bed, suffering, look, get well soon because otherwise I have no competition. That gives you a kind of, I don't know, a moral strength coming from him. That was the best medicine I could have. Really. And this was Luciano, this kind of generosity, this kind of spontaneity. He was not only an exceptional artist, he was a character.
其实帮助卡雷拉斯的不仅仅是帕瓦罗蒂，还有 Domingo。在他的一次演唱会的会场中，他把大病初愈的卡雷拉斯请到了台上。这是病后他首次和观众见面，这让久离音乐的卡雷拉斯再次坚定了重返舞台的信心。而之后，在他的家乡巴塞罗那的复出演唱会，让他获得了舞台的新生。
It was 20 years ago, actually. But do you think it still exerts some influence on your life now? Maybe a shadow or a positive thing?
Thanks God, I overcame the situation, and this somehow had a positive end with the establishment of the Jose Carreras International Leukemia Foundation. I established such foundation already 19 years ago in my hometown, Barcelona. This foundation had different daughters in the United States, in Switzerland and in Germany, and we are through this foundation trying to help people suffering from the same disease I was suffering from, and well, I think we are involved in projects and programs.
卡雷拉斯在这个基金会上投入了非常多的精力，从决策到日常琐碎。为了宣传基金会，他每年游历15个国家。2005年，他还来上海探望中国患血癌的儿童。当时记者提出要他和患儿合影，却被他委婉地拒绝了。他说：“我是来探望他们的，不是来作秀的。”
People say when we're very close to death, and when you're back, you have many things different from before. I mean, different values, priorities, just as you mentioned. So, what kind of difference?
You realize that in life not everything is success. You realize that in life not everything is a kind of running for success. There are things that they are much more important, like family, like friends. Now I have grandchildren, not only children. I now have 2 grandchildren, and try to combine everything. So, but I have to split myself in different pieces. No, seriously speaking, it's wonderful.
卡雷拉斯年轻时因为工作繁忙，曾经对家人，尤其是对一对儿女疏于陪伴。然而，一场病让卡雷拉斯意识到他们的重要。从那以后，家庭和事业在他的人生字典里成了2个并列的名词。在最后的行程中，卡雷拉斯的家庭成员都会陪伴他前往各地，而这次陪他一起来中国的是他的儿子 Albert。我们在采访的现场也看到了他的身影。
Alberto is a lawyer.
He is a lawyer and he has a daughter 2 years old. Her name is Maria, Julia. My daughter, she got the baby just 5 months ago. His name is Mikel. And well, so the family is growing, and needless to say, I'm very proud and very happy.
When Julia, your daughter, gave birth to her baby, were you Were you alongside with her?
I had lucky enough that both when my daughter-in-law delivered 2 years ago, and when now Julia, my daughter, he delivered 5 months ago, I was both time not present during the birth, but in the hospital waiting to see the child.
It must be a very unusual experience for you, right? It's, you know, when people see it's a great artist, great tenor, Carreras, when you were waiting outside of the door, outside of the hospital, then it's real. The grandfather to be.
Don't forget something. Before than a tenor or before than an artist, I'm a human being. And one of the most beautiful things in life is to have a grandchild.
Then you must miss them a lot when you're traveling.
Yeah, but nowadays I even speak to them through the video conference, and technology is in our days.
You do?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
That's cool. So from the internet?
Internet, yes.
Through the internet?
Yeah. I'm not able to do it, but somebody's preparing that for me, and I can have a little talk with a little one, and to see how Michael is eating his fruit.
Wow! So how's the conversation goes? Like, Michael, be careful, eat more. That's what you taught you. You will speak to Michael. I'm sure he cannot understand that much, but would you speak to him?
He's a very, how to say, very talented and intelligent guy, but he's only 5 months old, so he has some problems.
Would you ever teach your grandchildren to sing?
If they show a talent, if they have a spectacular voice, and they show a talent, I may consider.
Does Michael show that talent, or Maria? Both of them show that talent now?
I would prefer to teach a tenor than a soprano.
When he cries, did you see he has that talent?
He's quite noisy. This I don't know if this voice has to be educated, etc. But there is certain potential. I'm joking.
That's cute. I'd like to hear him crying. Hear his tenor voice. So you take pictures with you?
I have the picture from my granddaughter and my grandson in the telephone. Yeah, of course.
Do you plan to spend more time with your big family?
I try to do my best. I try to combine, as we said before, the professional life with the personal life, and every time I have the possibility to be in Barcelona, where they live, I visit him, they visit me, we try to get together.
Stage of life, as you have achieved so much in your career, do you have any other dreams that you wish come true?
My dream in this moment is to be happy like everybody else in the world. What I need to be happy is to go another few years, God will know how many, go on the way I'm going now.
So in other words, I think you feel quite happy with your life now.
I'm very happy, more or less, I don't know, I'm very happy. I consider myself, as I said, a very fortunate person.
What is your next plan to come to China?
I will go to Beijing for the opening of the new opera house.
Oh, okay.
In January, and then I also will perform in Macau.
Okay.
So my next plan for China very soon, next January.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So pleasure. If we can, maybe you can meet in January in Beijing. Hopefully.
I hope so. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you.